Hello students, taking your topic forward from yesterday's topic on manufacturing process, manufacturing industries, that they are so important for the country and particularly for a country like India, which was colonized. Britishers were there for a long time. They established industries, no doubt, but in certain pockets of India which was suitable for them. For example, which was suitable near the seaports, near the hinterlands, and where they could gather the products very easily. But after independence, our government could not do so because it is our country and we have to look after the overall development, setting up industries in tribal, backward and other areas and removing the regional imbalances. Clear? So I hope you have understood all these topics. Now we come to another very interesting topic, that agriculture and industries are not exclusive of each other. Industries and agriculture and industry, they are not exclusive of each other. They are the two sides of the same coin. They are the two sides of the same coin, means they go together. They are interdependent, agriculture and industry. So we will discuss this very interesting topic of 3 marks, that agriculture and industries are not exclusive of each other. They go hand in hand, they go both simultaneously. How? Agriculture provides so many things to the industries, and the biggest one is raw materials for the agro-based industries. Secondly, agricultural sector provide all the foodstuffs that the people working in the industrial sector consume. And agriculture sector is giving all the benefits to the industrial sector by purchasing their harvesters, tractors, fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides and whatnot. So industries are benefited by agriculture. Even agriculture is benefited by industries, because the agricultural work today has become very efficient. It has become very quick. Earlier farmers were busy throughout the day working in their fields. Now it takes minutes to plow the land, it takes minutes to sow the seeds. Even artificial rain sprinklers are there, they can do. So irrigation facilities, pumps, PVC pipes, etc., industries provide them. So agricultural sector is doing wonders because of the assistance given to them by the industrial sector. They are doing wonders in agriculture. Is it clear? So they both go hand in hand. Industries purchase raw material from the agricultural sector and vice versa. So they go simultaneous. Primary sector, secondary sector. Very easy to understand, because this you have read in your economic syllabus also when we were doing the sectors of the Indian economy, that there is a tendency of interdependence between the two. Correct? So whenever this question comes in board examination, write down 2 headings. First heading, agriculture depends on industry, give 2 points. And then second large heading, industries depend on agriculture, and then again 2 points. And then you write down that they go hand in hand, they cannot be separated from each other, and they are rightly called the two sides of the same coin. Very well answered, and 3 out of 3 marks. Next, 1 mark question. What is NMCC? National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. NMCC. It is an organization that is organized in India to look after the contribution of the industries to the national economy. Because industries, yesterday we discussed that industries have a very important role to play in the economic development and development in general in a country. They are very important for us, for every country. Even for the developed countries who are experiencing industrial revolution, industrial development for quite long time before us, but it is important for all. So the contribution, it is calculated like this. For example, if it is 27% to the national income, to the national development of the national economy of a country, it accounts for 17% from the industries, because 10% is counted for as mining, quarrying, etc. So as far as India is a very big country as far as its development is concerned. In every 5-year plan, there is strategy to improve our two sectors, agriculture, industry. And this secondary sector is really very important because we studied that it produces valuable products by converting raw material into more usable products, and more it has made our life very comfortable, because many materials, raw materials are there which cannot be consumed directly. They have to be processed. So processing sector is this. So its contribution counts a lot. So now there is National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council. It looks after the growth and development of industries. That industries are set up in different parts of the country. They should be diversified. They should be set up in different places. They should not be concentrated on one place. That would restrict the development. So they should be diversified, they should be developed, there should be growth of industries, all types of industries. So this is looked after by National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, because today is the world of globalization. Our industrial sector, it has to work very hard, and its product should be equal as far as the other countries are producing, like developed countries who are experiencing industrial revolution for a long time before we started its development. I hope this topic is very clear to you all. We switch over to next topic of 5 marks, industrial location. Industrial location means the entrepreneurs, the investors, the persons or the person who want to establish an industry. What would be the factors that would affect the industrial location, that would affect and the location where an industrialist would decide to invest. This is called industrial location and factors suitable for the industrial location, because every investment is made with the objective to earn profit, obviously. So with the objective to earn profit, when industrial location is searched to invest, to establish an industry, it is very complex one. It is very, very complicated, because for industrial location, we need so many things. We need so many facilities, and you know, it is not possible to have all the facilities, all the benefits at a place. That would be an exception, that all the things that we need, that we will discuss just now, that are available at a place. So industrial location is a very complex and a very, very difficult task. But anyhow, for our convenience, we divide it into 3 broad categories, that is physical factors, or you can call it physiographic factors also, right word for geography. Or if it is not convenient to you, then you can say physical factor or physiological factor. Second one is human factors. And in the third category, students, you can keep all the other which you recall later. Very conveniently you can answer, because this is a 5 marks topic for your board examination. So first of all, I am giving you the physical factors that are responsible for the industrial location. So very easy to understand in the way that physical factors are concerned with those things, all those things which are already available in a particular location, already available. They are obvious over there. Correct? Something is coming in your mind? Yes, proximity to raw material. Because if industrialists have to carry raw material from long distances, it would add to the cost of production, and that would be no profit to them. And as I told you, that every investment is done with the objective to earn profit. So in the physical factor or physiographic factor, first of all, there should be proximity to raw material. For certain industries, we also bother about climate. For example, the cotton yarn. Cotton yarn is produced very well. The quality of cotton yarn becomes very good when it is hot and humid climate. Remember, most of the industries were in Gujarat, Maharashtra. Why? Because of hot and humid climate. So for certain industries, climate is also it is one of the factor for the location of industry. So first of all, I told you about the proximity of raw material. Second, I told you about the climate for certain industries. And the third one is roads, transportation and communication, and all the consultants, the banks, water supply, electricity supply, it should be already there. Electricity supply should be there, because private entrepreneurs will not invest in supply of electricity or supply of water. So all this will come in physical factors, means they are already available in a particular location. Correct? Then another also easy to understand means human factors. All those things that human beings will invest. For example, capital. Capital means money. Who will invest? Money is not a physical factor. It will be human factor. Human beings will invest money over there. Then I told you about the transportation, the transporters who will propel the vehicles, propel the trucks, bring raw material, take products from the factories to the retail shops and market. So a well-knitted human resource, a well-knitted human factor is needed, capital and others, where human beings, skilled and unskilled labor. Skilled labor to work with the machines, unskilled labor to do the other works. So all this will come in human factors, where directly human beings are involved. And in the third one, put all the points which you forget to put here, and here put in the others. For example, a very good infrastructure, schools for the children, then amusement parks, because people who will work in the industries, obviously they will be needing at the weekend, they would be needing some enjoyment. So amusement parks, petrol pumps, etc. you can write down in other factors. And don't forget to write down government policies. Every investor want to invest in that area where government policies are very liberal, where taxes are very low. If there are high taxes, it will add to their production, and that would be again no profit for them. So other factors, government policies. And where all these factors are available, I told you that it is not necessary that all the factors which we have discussed, they are available at a place. That would be an exception. So they cannot be available. So some way or the other, some factors are missing. So then what we will do? Then what industrialists will do? Then they will think over that among these factors, maximum are available. For example, suppose there are 10 factors, so at least 7 are there or 8 are there. Correct? And where all these facilities are provided to the industrialists, correct? Agglomeration economies takes place. And agglomeration, Pune, Chinchwadi, agglomeration economy, so many industries come together to tap the advantage of all these things, to take the advantage of all these things where these factors are available. So an agglomeration economy takes place where many industries come together to tap the benefit of all these things. So this we discussed today about the industrial location. Go through all these things, prepare your notes. We will meet again in the next lecture discussing about the different types of the classification of industries, and then we will discuss that how different types of industries are working in India, what is their position in India, how they are giving employment to the people, and what is their place in the Indian economy. Correct? Thank you very much, students.